Hello, I'm Jeff.
I'm Patrick.
And we should say, and then there'd be Ross.
And then there would be Ross,
And then there would be Ross, but no, Ross is sadly still at, well, not sadly, because he's having a nice time. Was at Nova.
Yeah, in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so he'll be flying back. Oh.
Now?
No, don't know.
Can't
if
remember.
it was said by any of the previous American flights we've done, he'd be flying back for us sometime tomorrow afternoon, I think it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He's away.
He's away.
A busman's holiday.
Yes, he's away peddling artis opus brushes like we've done ourselves on many an occasion.
There we go. But it's been a while since we sat down and had a bit of a chit chat with the summer we've had
on the sides of the table. That's been a while.
It's always a special occasion, isn't it?
Like the old days. Yeah, but so we thought we'd have, because we haven't really covered it because just holidays and you being at Gen Con and then bank holidays we have here in England. If you're American, it gives us or somewhere else in the world, it means you get a Monday off, and that's when we record as a Monday to tie into my working schedule. So we've had it's been about 2 or 3 weeks.
It's been a little while. We kind of had a bit of a pause, and then we had Steamforged on with a double header.
Yes, that took up some of the time.
And then and lots happened.
Lots has happened.
All of it's positive.
Well, yes, we go with that. Should go with that and see how we get on.
At least
should have an asterisk. Subjects likely to
this is opinion and doesn't reflect the painting phases. Yeah,
the product may vary from those in the box.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
so
me.
Yeah, so we've had a little bit of a run of releases from Games Workshop, be it both 40k and Age of Sigmar and little tiny snippets of Old World. But as we're sort of predominantly a 40k channel, I think we'll sort of start there.
I mean, I need to say, looking at the new releases from Nova for Age of Sigmar.
They're lovely, aren't they?
They're incredible.
Yeah.
And what they've done with armor and cloaks, I'm like, that's really awesome.
Yeah, they've really knocked it out the park, and they've knocked it out the park for both the Stormcast and also for the Skaven. Some of the Skaven stuff is like off its trolley weird in a really good way.
Yeah. Because Skaven, I'm not as familiar with Skaven.
No, not really, neither.
And some of the models I'm a fan of, some of them not so much.
Yeah.
I feel like as a vibe for an army, it's probably not one that I would like. I'm not going. I really want to collect Skaven. Yeah.
Well, I've never been like that with Age of Sigmar at all. I desperately want to create it to have an army of that. Twice is the only that it's flashed where I've gone, ooh, and that was this man, and the other was Cities of Sigmar.
Yes,
and both of them. Cities of Sigmar got really close to becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And I was really tempted, but I've managed to fight it off because mainly I think for me avoiding Age of Sigmar is because I just haven't got any more space in my brain for more game rules.
Yeah.
It's too old now.
Yeah.
It's an absolute
I mean, I just look at stuff and I'm like, rule of cool.
Yeah.
So the Stormcast, I'm feeling like the new stuff that keeps coming out.
Yeah.
It continues to impress.
Well, that new character that they've created, that is a really nice Space Marine chaplain.
Yes,
is really good.
Yeah, I know exactly the one you're on about. Yeah, and
I looked at that and I thought I'm really tempted to buy it to see how much work it would take.
Yeah,
to swap it around.
Somebody did. I'll see if I can find it and put it over, but it's Reddit, so I've got no idea where I saw it. But yeah, on Reddit somewhere, somebody did like a Photoshop conversion.
Well, there was that chap who does really good ones. Then
I can't remember. Kabuski?
Yeah, come on, Kabuski. You haven't done one yet, or if you have, I haven't seen it, so I apologise.
So someone did one where they turned it into a Blood Angels chaplain, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So really cool.
It doesn't need much, to be fair.
Yeah.
It needs a backpack and some change of shoulder pads and
so
bits and bobs, bit of filing here.
The miniatures for the game that neither of us play have been exceptional.
We've really impressed. Really impressed with those miniatures. we won't be buying.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I finished painting my first army this summer.
Yeah,
which
I know. Congratulations.
I don't know if you can, if I like move out the way.
You can.
No, you can't. I'm too fat. But my Dark Angels army is sort of 1,500 points done.
Yes, and a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing to behold.
I'm quite
my shoulder at it.
I'm quite chuffed with that.
Yeah.
That isn't anything new. So I feel like the big summer releases started off with the new Inquisitor, the wrong trousers.
The wrong trousers Inquisitor. Oh, do you know what? I know, and I know this is all now old news because a lot of people have had their moan and they complain about it since. But because we're doing a bit of a roundup, and like I say, we've had quite a busy summer. But I really, really am flabbergasted because I don't know what's gone on there. I really don't know. And, there's always that thing. And I have seen this before back in the day when, and I've spoken to people who are in the know, where there's been some, and I'm going back to my first time of collecting being in the hobby, there was some shoddy Space Marines. Some were like pencil thin thighs and just really bizarre looking things, which isn't a problem the new Inquisitor's got.
No.
And people would go, what's going on with that? And someone, people who don't work there anymore. So, but friends of mine who used to work at Games Workshop would go, the new guy did that. And when you go, the new guy did that, I'm good with that because you go, okay. And, I was the new guy at a barber once and, my haircuts were awful and they've marginally improved. But, we've all been the new guy at a job.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Oh, massively, yeah.
And once you're releasing Marines with other Marines and, without sounding awful, they can they just become a much of a muchness to some degree.
Yeah.
But when you're trusted, and I'm not saying the new guy did the Inquisitor courtiers, but if it was a younger or newer sculptor, you're going, I'm not sure I would give a known Inquisitor who's had a model before and the cover of a codex to somebody who was new. I just don't know what the theory was behind the way it looked.
It was an interesting style choice, I think. The older model I prefer.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
I feel like it had more detail on in the armor and all that sort of stuff, and the artwork of him, like with his like Crozius or whatever it is, like smacking down and stuff. I'm like,
big hammer.
Yeah,
it's big hammer.
I'm like, that's awesome. And it's just a bit of a sleeker, sort of less gothic.
Well, it's
sort of thing.
Sadly very generic, and it's taken loads of the lovely elements of that original model have gone. There is touchstones, obviously, the pelt over his now one shoulder and the hammer and the bird are all still there, but
with randomly flapping its wing over a bit of a rock.
Do you not think it looks like it's just been nailed to that by one wing? It's just really bizarre because there is two problems with it. A, it doesn't remotely look like what it originally was. Other than these things, you're going, oh, the hammer, he's in gold, he's got a pelt on and a cloak. Okay, and the bird. But all of the feeling of that original character are all completely gone.
Yes.
And the extra smack in the mouth is the fact that the original character's design is the one that's on the cover of the Blondie book.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
If it had been a new piece of art reflecting that model, it would feel a little bit less insulting.
I feel like, that makes a lot more sense, yeah. I completely get what you mean. And I feel potentially perhaps in 40k at the minute, it feels like things are like a critique of Primaris was that it's lost a bit of that character, and when we did our Space Marine eras sort of thing, I was like, well, you jokingly sort of said in my glorious presentation,
it was glorious,
that they started off with a one size fits all, put these in any of your army kind of thing, and then they're building up on that. Like you got your Black Templars and they look very Black Templar-y and all that sort of stuff. But then say like with the Blood Angels releases, they even like they're a bit sort of
generic.
Yeah.
Well, it leads, if I just go back, using the Blood Angels as a point to go back to the Inquisitor for a moment, is that there seems to be a thing with Games Workshop with regards to character models, is they go, one way or the other now, since they've become Primaris based. They go one way or the other, which is they either remake the old miniature in a bigger size, or they find a really beautiful piece of artwork from back in day, and they make the miniature from that.
So
like with Mephiston,
Helbrecht
and Helbrecht. They found original pieces of art from a while back, and gone, let's make that. Sokotier's is none of that.
No.
They didn't go, let's go back to that. If they'd have done the original model, but from the cover of the Codex with the hammer above his head, everyone would have gone, they've gone back to that piece of art, which everyone loved. And they go, or we'll do the other thing, which is what's happened with the Blood Angel characters, or most of the Blood Angel characters that have been released in the last few weeks, is remake the same miniature, just bigger. And they didn't. They've done this really weird thing where they go, we're doing none of that. And if anything, if you'd have put him out in front of me, if you'd have put that miniature out in front of me and not put the bird there, I'm not even sure I'd have guessed who it was.
No.
Especially if it was in grey plastic.
Yeah.
Painted gold, I'm getting nearer there.
Yeah.
But if you'd have gone, who's that? I'd gone, I don't know, some Inquisitor.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I might have gone, he's got a hammer like the other one had. But other than that.
Yeah.
So to put that to bed, I don't know whether they've let somebody who's new to their skill have a go at that or what, but I just don't. The bit that gets me, there's obviously quality control, and I'm more annoyed by the idea that someone signed off on that than the person sculpting it. Because person sculpting it, we've all got to learn our craft, but someone didn't go, needs more this, needs more that, needs more this.
Yeah.
Maybe go look and have another look at the face on the old one. Why does he look like a different bloke?
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like the same man.
Fair. Yeah. It's an interesting one, and I think as well, because I think we've said, Games Workshop doesn't really credit people.
No.
With the Scabentide,
possibly for the best with that miniature.
With the Scabentide box, Ross was telling me that they did credit people.
Good.
But then with all the backlash that has received, and then with some of the Blood Angels sort of like the troop choices, feel like the characters and stuff look really cool. But especially with the Inquisitor, I can't imagine they're not going to go, and this was designed by Bob.
And here's his home address.
And then and everyone's gone, fucking Bob, sack the bastard.
Yeah.
And Bob, shouldn't be sacked.
No, of course you shouldn't.
I can imagine, maybe like these things, it's a big business. Art and business have a weird way of interacting with each other, and one of them usually has to win. In a company as big as Games Workshop, the business side of it probably wins out more than others.
Yeah.
And so, they were like, oh, we need to get this Inquisitor out. You'd be like, oh, but I've only done the base model. I need to put all the detail in.
Yeah.
Shut up, Bob. Get it out. Fine. Done.
And, and it feels like that could be a thing, because you think financially, you set a sculptor to work, and I'm talking completely out of my hat ideas of how it all works, but you put a sculptor to work to make a thing.
Yeah.
Surely, financially, him putting a whole load of written words on a piece of parchment wrapped around the thigh, financially is not going to make much difference to if he never got round to it. Do you know what I mean? And it goes, then it has to go away and it has to then go away, and the molds get made, and I understand all that, but it can't be fine. I can't imagine they go, if we make that one look as cool as the last one, we're going to lose thousands. I can't see that that was really going to happen. It could be, and I might be being naive, and if I am, I'm sure you'll probably tell me in comments if I am. But I just couldn't see it costing massively thousands of difference to put a really, really nice, like the original Inquisitor out, and then a really blank one. Especially because if you look at the amount of detail, to go back where we started, the amount of the detail in some of the weird and wonderful monsters that they've made for the Skaven. They don't, if sculptors are being paid by the hour, someone was doing quite well on the wages for making Skaven, but weren't doing well on the wages for making that Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I wonder to some degree, I wonder whether there's been a movement of manpower, because it weirdly at the moment the disparagement between AOS and 40k is really quite wide, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it is.
But to go back to the Blood Angels, which is where we got to, I was really disappointed because we had said, hadn't we, previously in the Space Marine video, which generation was the best, was that the Black Templars were looking like a very good starting point for Marines that would follow.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen with regards to Archangels. They didn't really do much to the rank and file. But they went heavy on the Inquisition. They went heavy on the Terminators.
Yeah. I feel like the Deathwing Knights are tip top.
And then they did them other ones. Are they called the Companions or something?
Yeah. They were all with the purple robes on and stuff. Yeah.
So they did
in a circle.
They'd sort of left. Yeah. They'd sort of left the troop alone a bit.
Yeah.
They'd left the troop alone a bit and gone, look, you're just going to have to rely on your standard intercessor box.
Yeah.
Whereas, the Black Templars, chained weapons, embossed shoulder pads, helmets with crosses on, loincloths for everyone, lots of cool little gribblies to go on your backpacks and things like that. And they really made that Black Templar specific. And I know the Black Templars have a more gothic look than most Space Marines, but it held me in good hope that they would do, especially because they're very popular, would do a Blood Angels box where it was like basic intercessors, but the correct shoulder pads, and also a thing that was missed that I'll talk about. When they go Black Rage, are they called Death Company?
Yeah.
Death Company. Why didn't they do a range? Why, when you're bearing in mind that they did shoulder pads with Templar crosses on both sides on both shoulders for the Black Templars, they do a load of shoulder pads with the red X already done on them, so you could paint them to be either. So
what
if they'd done Blood Angels the right way? Why didn't they do a? They could have done a load of shoulder pads in there with the X's on.
Yeah, because they've done them with the blood drop on one side, have they? But then is it just a blank one, and you have to freehand the?
Yeah. But
it's an interesting one for a box doing Death Company. I think the thing is, it's quite niche, isn't it?
You say that, but back in the day, they had their own. They went, and I'm talking back in the day, but they had their own miniatures.
Yeah,
they had their own miniatures. You could go and buy a box of Death Company,
because you can buy Death Company. It's like Assault Intercessors, but I think it's like head swaps and stuff. You can get.
But are they like? Is that a new box or is that the old? Is that Fair-Spawn?
It's Primaris, I think.
Oh, is it?
I need to double check.
Please do, because I didn't. I think that must have gone by me. I missed it.
Death Company Intercessors. I forgot that it existed because I haven't. Blood Angels have been something that I've looked at and gone, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, so it's 5 miniatures, and it's. You've got like one guy with a chainsword, and so it's just like a squad of 5 Marines essentially.
Okay, well, I'll forgive them then, because I obviously I've not done enough research there.
Yeah, so they are. You get those miniatures in that box.
Yeah,
and you get some jump pack Marines. I love that it seems to be in the starter boxes for the Marines. They're like, oh, we need to just throw in a Redemptor Dread.
Yeah, as they always like to do, don't they? But yeah, but I think, even still, I think the Blood Angels, like the Black Templars, especially when you consider since the Black Templars aren't even a first founding chapter.
Yeah.
The Blood Angels should have got a box of their own. Blood drops on the helmets, shoulder pads.
Yeah,
Instead of having to rely on what will become a very expensive route if every time you start building Blood Angels with the right shoulder pad, you're having to buy upgrade screws. It becomes very expensive very quickly.
Yeah. So these guys have molded shoulder pads, so they've got blood drop in a wing, but then the other one will be blank, and you have to put the X on. Yeah,
but it's a shame, and I've got to be honest. I was a bit disappointed that 2 of the characters just looked the same as they had done previously.
Yeah,
I thought I was sort of hoping out they might have got new posers, and the Sanguinary Guard taking them wings away. That went well, didn't it?
It was found it hilarious again when we did that chat and stuff, and we were like, oh, I bet Great Studios release a Blood Angels pack.
Yeah,
and then they announced it like a couple of days after we.
I bet they were chuffed when they came out with the wings.
We'd done it, and they sell the wings. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'd download just that wing file.
Yeah.
And make a few of them. I saw a chap on Instagram that got shared in like one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, and he made some wings and put it onto like Dante and all that sort of stuff, and that looks really, really great. Like I can definitely see that how a 3D printer could be used to be like, yeah, I'd quite like to make those a bit more sort of more Blood Angel-y.
The bit that made me laugh from that was, I liked that the payoff for that was, here's a couple of big air flaps with wings molded on them.
Yes.
You're like, that's not making anyone happy. If anything, that's actually maybe just making it a little bit worse.
Yeah. Because I mean, somebody told me the explanation behind it being that like the armor, I'm probably going to get it all the lore incorrect, but the armor is super old and there was only so many bits made. So this is like new armor that pays homage to the old and that kind of thing. And I'm like, hey, okay. Still let my wings, please.
Well, you're going, we have to make new armor because that other armor is now no longer available. So we have to make new armor. And you're going, well, just make more wings. Why have they now not got wings? Just because the armor's dead. It doesn't mean that. You go, and the only man that knew how to make wings has died. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, God, yeah. His name was Icarus.
Yeah,
and he flew too close to something.
Yeah, and that's it. You know.
Yeah,
but it was like you go, it just almost looked all. I almost got to the point where I was thinking, is this now intentional? Are they on a massive wind up? Are they? It just everything's just becoming. I was so hopeful it wasn't going to happen when I looked at some of the things that have been out for Space Marines in the semi sort of recent last sort of 2 or 3 years. I was really looking that it was going to Primaris were going to get their flavour. The flavour from 40 Gothic 40k was going to come in, and it just looks like they've sort of gone so far and went, oh, do you know what? Don't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's.
Never thought I'd see people really raging on the internet about lack of nipples on something. But but you know what? But I don't really care whether Space Marine armor has nipples or not. But I also seen their point, which was going, you seem to just be taken away, not added.
Yeah. Like the new Blood Angels captain.
Yeah,
he sort of stood in that sort of pose. Like the him painted red, I was like, nah. Him painted gold, I was like, that's better. And then I think there was a slightly different pose with the arms, with the weapon options, which I think I preferred. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe there's like some kind of power struggle at the top of the design studio.
I tell you what, I'd be sitting here not massively happy if I was a Space Wolf player, because I'd be sitting here panicking about what's going to happen when they get their re-release.
Oh, it must be quite scary, because like the meme for Blood Angels is at the moment is that they're like Ultramarines 2. This time they're red. And that kind of thing. And I can we kind of understand it. I mean, saying that, I haven't seen any of the models in person.
No. The Marte's lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice.
The Terminator, like the new Chaplain in Terminator armor from the picture.
Yeah.
I think we all said like bit boring.
Oh, the Marte's one of him.
No. Like the one. The one I have.
Oh yeah.
That chap.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. I remember looking at that and thinking, like in comparison to the model that you got that was like the anniversary model or something like that, there was a Chaplain in Terminator armor and he was just coated in
skulls and stuff,
in drip, and he looked so cool. This guy, actually, now that I have him and he's 3-dimensional, I much prefer it to the picture. Yeah. So I want to sort of fully hold judgment until I've seen them.
Yeah.
But then quite often, like usually, if a model looks really awesome in a picture, it looks even better.
Yeah.
But if a boring okay model looks, it's all right. I think the GW have I don't know, maybe been a victim of their own success in that they had a really good run of form in miniatures with Marines, and they were getting really cool. The new Terminators, I think, are exceptional, even though they're quite sort of straightforward.
Yeah, they are.
But they just look great. I think they're amazing.
They don't they haven't been overly dynamic.
No,
really ever Terminator, other than really Logan Grimnar, and when they were in the most recent Space Hulk.
Like the Blood Angels this time, I would have loved. I've got some of the older kits, the Blood Angel Terminator squad, and they have like the lightning claws and just kitted out like the ones that are in Space Hulk, that kind of thing. Like they look so good, and to get this version, like a Primaris-ified Terminator, Ian Blood Angels, all that sort of stuff. Like I would, sell a kidney to get a set of those. But instead, we've kind of got jump pack Marines that are painted a bit gold. Yeah. And they don't have any nipples or wings. They don't even have nipples.
They don't even have them. None at all. Even underneath, they've had them taken off. I see, and also to just sort of talk about this for a point as well, is that there is no way that over a year later, which we now are on Leviathan, did I think I would be sitting here and not have in a collection Assault Terminators? Where are they? Where are they? Are they waiting for another Space Marine release? Is there another chapter going to turn up and then they'll go and we'll release them with them? Because you go, where have they gone?
Yeah.
Made more annoying by the fact that I'm sitting here panting over Archie's Forge. Have done some really great Black Templar pieces. Which you go, I don't need more Terminators to buy them bits, but if you sell me Assault Terminators, I'll turn them into quite Black Templar looking Terminators. So I'm really looking forward to getting both kits so I can do this blend. But I'm like, what, a year later and you still haven't made them? And seems to be this thing of some stuff just either takes for ages or they just go, oh, we've just quietly done away with that.
Yeah. I saw, again, another interesting sort of thing on Reddit as well. Somebody had done all the 40k miniatures that have been released this year. And one of the comments was, they were like, looking at this in comparison to previous year's releases, this has been the first one in ages where there hasn't been like that Guilliman, Lion, Gaz, like that Be'lakor, like that really sort of big like tentpole miniature. Like we haven't had that this year.
No, we haven't had one really so far. Like here we go as well. Indomitus, the Indomitus box. So Leviathan's over a year old now. Just. And then the one before that was Indomitus. Indomitus gave us motorbikes. Still haven't got a Space Marine captain on a motorbike. Where's that?
No.
No Space Marine captain on a motorbike. Other things, and I know it sounds daft, but how can you be important enough to be the rank of lieutenant, which makes you the guy under captain, and not be important enough to be allowed to wear a suit of Terminator armor, but sergeants can? Where's Lieutenant Terminator?
Oh, okay,
Bear in mind, there's about 19 of them, there is, and God knows how many variants. Why hasn't got one of them in this? Why is he?
Never thought about that.
No lieutenant in Gravis armor.
No, only captains.
Only captains.
Yeah. It's because
you can put a sergeant in Gravis armor.
Yes, you can.
But you can't put a lieutenant.
Can't put a lieutenant in. Yeah.
The only thing a lieutenant has managed to beg, borrow, and steal his way into doing anything that's any different to anything else. He's managed to get hold of a shield because you can have a blade guard lieutenant.
Okay.
But other than that, you go,
because they only want to put them in Primaris, Space Marine armor.
So I don't know why. But
long live the meme.
Indeed, long live the meme. So you go, there's loads of things. You go, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Why did you decide on a chaplain on a motorbike, which I love? I think it's a really nice miniature. I love the original miniature. Funnily enough, the original miniature had wings on his bike, and they took them away as well. Maybe that was the beginning of it. No one noticed it was happening slowly. And they go, how have you not got round to? It's almost like they not only did they go, we're slowly doing away with the firstborn, but when they come to doing the Primaris, they haven't gone, all them things we killed in your firstborn army that is going to upset you. We haven't replaced them.
Yes, because Blood Angels, there was a dreadnought, and then I forget the name of him, but that chap with that massive sword, massive like chainsaw. They've gone to Legends, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And then the stuff that they've been replaced with or not been replaced is just like, oh, you've gotten rid of the flavour.
Yeah, there's so many good things that just haven't, like, you know.
I don't collect Blood Angels. I you know, from that point of view, I'm not sure I can be super angry about it.
No, but,
in that I don't get super angry about anything, I guess, but I can understand everybody's frustrations. Yeah,
I want everyone to get, because I love the hobby as a whole, you know, especially the 40k elements of it. I love it as a whole, and I want everybody to get the thing that works for them. Especially if I bang the drum for my armies to get the things that they need.
Yeah,
and, you know, I want everybody else to get the things that they need as well, because in the, you know, because the only thing, because it only just helps more joy for the game, doesn't it? More options of things to play. And I understand shelf space in shops. I get it that you can't put everything on a shop. And I sometimes think that, you know, Games Workshop obviously rely on their shops, and they've had them forever a day, and pretty much nearly every major city in the world has probably got one. But you go, you know, they almost seems to be, sometimes the shop is like a hindrance, because the fact that it dictates how much stuff they can have out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, if they were maybe a bit faster at going, this thing still sells, but not as much, you go, right, well, get it out the shop and get it online.
Yeah.
We still move them, but, you know, at one point in time we were moving 30 a week, now we're moving 5. I'm not saying get rid, but just get it online, get it out the shop, get something else in. And I just feel like, is this what's going on? Is the, to take as an example, is the no Space Marine captain on a bike because there isn't space on a shelf for a Space Marine captain on a bike? If you put him on there, do you have to take something away which is more important and will sell more of? And I get it, because the average Space Marine player will probably buy at least 2-3 boxes of intercessors.
Yeah.
But they'll only buy one Space Marine captain on a bike.
Yeah.
I understand it, but you also go, you know, there's no captain on a bike if you're there's no captain on a bike if you're a White Scars player.
Yes,
which is ridiculous.
That makes me laugh. Yeah, like the White Scars boxes is just like, everyone's really fast and they're on bikes or they've got jetpacks or just, it's all about speed.
Yeah.
And then the boss is just like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
You know what I mean? It's like, you go,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, some of it's just sort of weird. So I just don't know. It just all feels like it's just all. It's getting a bit. It's getting a bit sort of like, you know, lowest common denominator releases as well. What's the easiest way we can make that's just enough?
Yes. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I completely get that. So I am going to have one last little moan about Workshop, and then I'm going to only be positive.
Yes, well, I've got a couple of positives, but I have got
potentially. Kill Team's coming out. I think that looks awesome.
Yeah. So we get your last moan out.
What was I going to moan about?
Were you going to moan about Nova, perchance?
Oh, okay. So maybe 2 moans. Yeah, the new Kill Team coming out. I think the miniatures look fantastic. The scenery that's in there looks brilliant.
Cannot wait.
And that, I think, that has me the most excited about any of the new releases.
Well, it does me on a couple of levels, because I'm getting into Kill Team, so me and Bestie Tim have pretty much sort of made it easy by the fact he's blooming gone on holiday, but we're putting the brakes on Kill Team a bit. We've been learning it, and we're putting the brakes on a bit because I now don't want to keep filling my head with rules, getting very close to learning new rules. I'd rather empty my brain a bit, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to, from what I've seen of the new Kill Team, and now that I'm starting to get a bit more Kill Team centric, Glass Half Dead, really good YouTube channel, really goes to town on what he's releasing a video, bless him, at the moment, because there's so much Kill Team information virtually every day.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny as well, because with him, I don't know the gentleman's name, but you're watching me, you can just see him moving around the house depending on what the weather's like in the garden, he's in the conservatory, he's in his bedroom, he just seems to be moving around the house based on temperature. But
very good.
But he's you know, really ploughing the information through. And what I've seen of the way they changed it for the better, for me, it definitely looks for the better. The box looks great. I dread to think how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, that's the one sort of downside of it, I think, at the minute for me. Will it be, because I know at the moment, like the issue with the Gallodark sort of series was they did the same sets of walls in every box.
Yes.
And then they eventually sort of went, yeah, maybe that's not the best idea. And then this recent one, they sold you the scenery to begin with.
Yeah.
And then had just the bits of scenery. So it made the boxes cheaper. You didn't get the same amount of scenery 4 times. Smashing. This one, yeah. I wonder if it will be
back in the box again.
Have they?
It looks like it.
Right, okay.
As far as I can tell. Yeah, it looks like the scenery is back in the box.
Yeah.
So you've gone scenery in the box for the original one, and then every set that came out thereafter got scenery. And then they went Gallodark and they went, you probably don't need this anymore, but here's it again, and here's it again, and here's it again. Don't worry, because we're eventually going to release something called Board and Actions, and you'll get use out of it.
Yeah.
And then every box just gave you a new little bit of scenery, didn't it? Like it gave you County Council Heavy Bolter trailer.
Yeah.
And then holograms and things like that. And you got armories and stuff. So you got cool things, but they keep repeating themselves. And then the next time they went, scenery's in a box, buy it if you want it. Each set will have a small bit of potentially narrative scenery in it, like reactors and things like that. And now this one, it looks like, as far as I can understand, and I may need to look at it again, but it looks like they've gone, scenery's back in the box again.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because it looks quite cool, the scenery. The new scenery's quite nice, and there seems to be a good old chunk of it. Don't do it again. Next time, just can we go back to the old box where you go, here's a couple of little things, but it's just 2 teams and your rules.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Yes, I think so. And the shapes are gone on the measurers, aren't they? They've just put inches.
They've just put the inches on now.
Circles,
do you know, I was happy for the shapes to go, but I'm glad the measurer didn't go. A lot of people went, I just use a tape measure. And you're going, and use a tape measure. If that's your bag, use a tape measure, it's fine. But you know what? Using it, once you get used to it, it's quite intuitive.
I think it's great that everything you need comes in the box.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of, for that style of game, I think that's very important.
Yeah. Well, because hopefully we're hopefully gonna try and get a bit of Kill Team in when the new one arrives, aren't we? We're gonna see if we can actually teach Ross how to roll dice.
It should be good fun. So that looks really good. I think the miniatures in there look really
nice.
good.
Yeah, as a Crute only player, I mean, I will be expanding this being a Crute and Vespid only player, because the Vespid look really nice.
Any reason not to play Tau?
I've got everything but the Tau, But I think I'm really pleased about that. And do you know what? Looking at the amount of scenery, the 2 squads are quite nice. It's got to be a new rule book, new tokens, and there's got to, and then there'll be the new new measuring system, because obviously the other one you won't be using anymore.
Yeah.
I quite happily. It looks like it's going to be about £1.5 to me.
You reckon?
I think it's about 140, 150 quid, I would say.
Yeah.
And looking what's in it, I think I'll be prepared to pay that. I think.
Yeah.
Especially because the fact that I'll probably, the jump pack Tempestus will probably end up with Bestie Tim, because he's an Imperial Guard player.
Yeah.
I'll end up with the Vespid. And so you think, so that's 2 squads of 10 that will find a home in and out of Kill Team.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that's money well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. So that has been one of my 2 little joys of 40k in the last 3 months. The other one being Warhammer Plus Inquisitor.
The miniature for the next year. Yeah. What a lovely miniature. Really nice.
Really cool and weird sidekick. Yeah, really bizarre. Apparently,
it's like an assassin or something.
Well, he's like a servitor sort of thing, but he looks like he uses noise as a weapon, which I think is quite cool.
Interesting.
He's got like a big speaker in front of his face.
Yeah,
I think that looks really nice, and really, really captured the 40k Gothic.
Yeah,
which then makes you wonder, going,
what on earth are they releasing? Yeah.
So that looks really nice. I'm quite pleased about that. I will be getting him. It's about 16 days and counting before I've got him.
So I cancelled my Warhammer Plus subscription like a full year ago, because I think they they announced the miniatures for that one, which was an Imperial Guards, Kassakin,
Yeah.
and then I can't even remember. Was it a
Still
witch?
haven't even took him out.
Was it the witch lady or something like that? And I was like, you know what? Neither of them do it for me. The animation releases are really, really slow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cancel. Zero regrets. This time, they left the announcement of like what the miniature was.
So what almost felt like the last minute.
So unbelievably late, because I thought it started in like August. Did the money come out for the year before they announced the miniature? Right.
No.
Okay. And then they had the one animation, and I genuinely thought about just signing up for a month just so I could watch the animation. But I'm glad I didn't, because just scrolling through YouTube and everything, because it's like, if it's Warhammer and it's cool, all of the fight scenes and the the cool conversations that they have, I feel like I've watched the entire episode in bits.
Is this the one
on
with the
TikTok and
where
YouTube?
they've gone back to the salamander again?
Yes.
That one,
Yeah.
the tide or the whatever.
Yeah, essentially, it should have just been Pariah Nexus episund 4 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
but
I watched
it's
it.
good.
I enjoyed it.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it was good.
It's definitely good.
Couldn't understand why the apothecary biologist was blue.
Oh, instead of like being white. Yeah,
I don't know why they did that, but it still looked cool. Probably might have just been as simple as they tried it in white on the animation, and with all the other glowy things going on with the Necrons, it got a bit weird looking.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
but then also, like, it's interesting with the Amazon animation that's been announced.
Really looking forward to quite a few of them.
December, so they're all based around like video game franchises and all that sort of stuff.
So it's Space Marine 2.5, isn't it? There's a story. It's a story, a tighter story.
Yeah, and that looks like it's going to be awesome. Like the animation house that are doing it have a great pedigree, and I think it will be fantastic. And I think it's what's something that we've said since the very inception of the channel is, like, with how good and how popular video game animations have been, like the League of Legends one that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Incredible. I've never played League of Legends, but I'm like, I can name some characters and go, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a wonderful series. And it reaches that wider audience, and it's like they call it soft power, don't they? Like just having the BBC having a world service is like England's, the UK's, I should say, influence over the world. Being like, our news is really good and really impartial, but then it's also like Western opinions all around the globe. So we're not telling you what to do, but we're just showing you, or whatever. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. So many more people will see Space Marines doing cool shit.
Who have probably never really ever tipped their foot in the water.
And I feel like Astartes did that.
Do you think there might be a bit of a thing where Amazon goes, let's see how many people watch this, and then we'll decide whether we're doing this?
Yeah. That's I've seen quite a few people talking about that and being like, let's see
it's
what
a litmus test for what might to come.
Yeah, you'd be like, do you want to see Henry Cavill on screen? Let's see how well this does. So that I'm very much looking forward to. I don't necessarily think it's a kick in the teeth for people that are paying for Warhammer Plus, because there's lots of various other reasons.
They did say, they did announce the other day, didn't they, that Astartes 2 is still very much in production.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Which is good. Funnily enough, the guy who makes Astartes 2 had been busy freelancing, and by the sounds of it, was freelancing on that thing for Amazon.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's, hilarious. So this is now the 4th year of Warhammer Plus?
Yeah, I always have to go by miniatures.
Or was it 2021 when it started?
Assassin, Khorne, Terminator, Kassakin, Inquisitor, 4 years.
Yeah.
I have to count
so they've had
exclusive miniatures.
Yeah, so we've had 3 full years of it.
Yeah.
And then this is the start of the 4th year, isn't it? Yeah. I think it was very much geared around the animations at the beginning, wasn't it? I think in the original trailer, they said, there's going to be stuff for events. Never happened.
Yeah. I was going to think I was going to be a very special boy.
Yes.
And have little exclusive events that us and the other people who had special toys and paid too much money for would go to. And events have never been a thing, has it?
No.
Not in the slightest.
So We'll just sweep that under the Warhammer Plus rug.
Yeah, that's what was never said.
You know, Deep Strike, that stopped. Devastating.
Yeah, I was crushed when that stopped.
Yeah. As I'm sure, creatively crushed with the people that had to make it. But like the animation releases are so unbelievably slow. I think they realised very, very quickly that it was very difficult to do. I don't think people signing up for it now will think, oh, they're going to have new releases every week for animations. I think if you were disappointed with that, like, you look back at the last 3 years, you know what's going to happen. So there we go.
I think, if I'm talking from my point of view, I think if it wasn't the fact that the financial cost of Warhammer Plus didn't also tie into me having the army builder, I probably would leave.
Yeah.
But I do, and I know people prefer other ones and whatnot, but I find the Games Workshop army builder system, the way it now is, after the car crash it used to be, but in its current state, I generally really like it.
Okay, good.
And if I'm paying for both, I'm quite happy to carry on having animations I'll never watch.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know, and I do, and also as well, and I really need to pull my finger out, because the lovely gent that does the does most of the
masterclass,
most of the masterclass now. He's a lovely guy. I've managed to spend a bit of time with him at a couple of barbecues and stuff. He's a lovely chap, and actually can really paint. And his instructional style is actually really good as well.
Yeah.
So, and I feel bad because I think I really need to tune into him more and make the most of it. But I do have a habit of just sort of going, oh, well, I'm getting the army builder and I get a sexy miniature every year, and I sort of have a habit.
Everybody has their own sort of reasons for doing it, don't they? And if it was for regular animations, that's not a reason anymore. If it's regular uploads to the vault, I don't think that is particularly a reason anymore.
Not really.
So for Masterclass, the battle reports are kind of like every other week or something, aren't they? They're not every week. Is it?
No.
Like maybe 2 or 3 a month or something along those lines. But there we go. So yes, what was I going to say? My last sort of gripe. So I'm going to talk about my last sort of gripe about. So some of the releases of, like, we didn't buy it, but we saw. Like Ross brought in the box, because I believe he bought it, the Necromunda release, like the game in a box.
Yes.
And something I've noticed,
one with the weird gene stealers.
Yeah. And something I've noticed with the releases from Kill Team and everything, like Games Workshop, you think about it, everyone goes, they've got the best miniatures in the game.
Yes.
Everybody says it. Like, they have the
even other companies say.
Yeah.
We've had people in here who have got their own wargaming companies, and still they still go back to Games Workshop. And
so the peak is
going, miniatures on a frame that you cut out and glue together. They are still top dog.
Yeah.
Without nipples.
Yes. Yes. even though people might not like the miniatures, they go, that was really nice to put together. Is like something I've noticed, like they don't cellophane wrap the boxes anymore.
No.
The cardboard stock that they make the boxes out of,
they're really flimsy.
Is getting really, really flimsy. Like if that got rained on, I think it would biodegrade on the way home. The games in boxes, even back in I've got one on top of the printer there, like that came with the Gallowdark. You used to get, quite thick cards that you would unfold, and that would be your gaming board. That's paper now.
It is in the Necromunda one.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's not paper in the new Kill Team. I'll be slightly crushed if it is.
Yes. So I feel like price is going up, but the miniatures, the quality of the miniatures is still really good, but the quality of everything else is going down. I feel like, Games Workshop, publicly traded company, they want their profits to go up every year. They want to provide value to their shareholders. And then the value of what the customer receives isn't as good anymore. Well, and I've been sort of getting used to this sort of drop in quality, as I think lots of people have. They haven't necessarily been making a big deal out of it. But Modiphius very kindly sent us some bits and bobs recently. So this Fallout Factions, we had him on for a chat show ages ago, James Hewitt.
Yes. Lovely man.
He designed this. First thing I noticed when I picked up the box, I was like, "Oh my god, this is what they used to be like."
Well, do you not think when you buy a new big box from Games Workshop, that feels like a little bit of an event, doesn't it?
Yeah,
a little bit of
yeah.
You know, it's a really big, endorphin hit, isn't it?
Yes.
And then when the box is almost like 3 grades, thicker than a piece of newspaper, it just takes the shine off.
So
it does, doesn't it?
This is a game in a box. You've got cardboard scenery. Yeah. But the quality of it is very, very good. To be fair, the gaming mat is paper.
Yep.
It's always super interesting looking at. I love looking at the miniatures from other companies. You've got your rule book, which is soft pages. The sprues remind me of. I look at them and I'm like, Workshop didn't make this.
Yeah.
It looks to.
There's a company called War Games Atlantic. It reminds me a lot of their miniatures.
Like I'm so used to looking at Workshop sprues and everything just being like all over the place with all the gates and everything.
And I'm like, in rows.
Oh, you've got all the bodies over here, and then all the arms and the guns. And
you know what? To be fair, it's lovely. The detail on it all is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like, some of these gangers have got cords tied around their legs, holding bits of armor in place and whatnot. And the detail's really, really nice. They are tiny compared to these, like the size of these are like making the new modern Cadian, quite skinny arms, and thin legs. Which is good because it makes the scale right, especially if you put them anywhere near Space Marine.
Yeah, so
these are similar to that, and but they're lovely.
So Fallout Factions is like your skirmish game. This game in a box, all your scenery, everything you need is £90, which I'm quite impressed with.
And also is
I think it's a well packaged game.
Yeah, and it's a game that you potentially might decide never to go and buy any more of, and it's still a game, isn't it? You don't need to be adding to it. It's a self-contained thing. Oh, this looks shiny and new.
So this I'm really excited about. I'm a huge fan of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
This at the time of recording, I think goes up for pre-order like right now, and we got sent an early release of it, so there might be some painting and playing and stuff in the future.
Absolutely.
But I love Mass Effect. It's like my favorite video game series, like the original trilogy at least.
Yeah.
And this I'm a huge fan of. I think I like miniature board games. I think are my sort of
sweet spot,
my jam.
Yeah.
I really like them. Small selection miniatures. Something you can pick up and play bits of, like you could play an individual mission of this and that kind of thing. This is Mass Effect, the board game Project Hagalaz, which bearing the name is a little bit interesting, isn't it? But again, right? I mean, the box is so good I can't even open it.
There you go,
fucking thing. You got a bunch of miniatures there because it's a board game, single piece plastic miniatures. You've got your mission book that you play.
I love the idea that the boards is in the book.
Yeah, decent quality. It's sort of like that laminated sort of plasticky sort of paper. And you've got
narrative book, cool.
And you've got all your rules and so on and so forth. I
love the idea that the characters all get their own sheet, so you know what you're doing. You can put it out in front of you. It's really cool.
Yeah, you even have a Mass Effect branded marker pen. Like Workshop, Workshop never do that.
That's peak gaming, isn't it?
Yeah, that's sensational.
My love in it is the fact that you've got all these counters and then they put bags in, and they also give you a cloth bag as well. For everything you need to keep. I love the idea of going, we accept all of this is going to get popped off and it's going to rattle around in the box. Yeah. So let's give you all the things to keep it nice and easy. It's
very, very good. They've given you, as in the game, you've got male and female shepherd.
Cool.
And that was really, really good, because I think the box has Lady Shepherd on the front, and I think generally it was really interesting. Like in the original trilogy, like male Shepherd was in all of the trailers for everything.
Yeah.
But I think the community generally decided, they were like, no, we like female shepherd
Like Lady
more.
Shepherd.
But you've got Garrus, you've got Rex, you've got Liara and Tally, and
the miniatures.
And the miniatures.
Do you know what? For One Piece miniatures, they're lovely, aren't
Yeah,
they?
I think
nice.
they're great.
Details good.
Like, I can't wait to paint Garrus up and just wander around my house saying, I'm in the middle of some calibrations right now, and so on and so forth. So,
it's a lovely set.
game in a box. You can.
So well presented.
It's incredibly well presented. You've got your cards and bits and bobs, everything you need. You've got your branded pen. You can buy miniature versions of all the tokens, and I think that's
so you
where
can
they're
have physical bad guys instead of.
I think that's where they're going to make the majority of their money.
Yeah.
Guess how much this is?
Because it's really the book, and that was really nice. I'm going to say it's about. I'm going to go 80 quid.
Okay, so I know how much it is, but it shocks me every time. So I need to double check. Yeah, cool. 40 quid.
No, you're joking.
No.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And that's not me doing some fake. Oh wow,
So Mass Effect the board game, priority Hagalaz, £40.
As much as the chaps were very, very kind to send them to me, and they are a lovely bunch of people, were very kind to send this to us. We haven't been forced to go on about it or anything, or be positive about it just because we've had it sent to us.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely stunned that that's 40 quid.
Yeah.
Just by the price of how much, even if we leave Games Workshop alone, just the price of board games in general nowadays.
Yes. Yeah. So I bought Brass Birmingham recently, and that is you play the Industrial Revolution in the Black Country. Mm-hmm. And so it's all like, it's great because I know all of the towns. It's like, here's Birmingham, here's Nuneaton and Coventry. Like, oh my God. That is all tokens.
Yes.
And that was like 60 quid.
Yeah.
So that's all this sort of stuff. And you have a board to play on and so on and so forth. Like, board games aren't cheap.
No.
Even like Wingspan is quite expensive. That's one that we've got as well.
I keep circling is that really, you'll have seen it because I know you're more of a board game man than I am, but that really big Star Wars one you can get that takes about 9 hours to play.
Oh, you know what? I don't know that one.
Oh, it's like really intricate. It's got a lot, you play the politics, you play the wars. It's really...
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I've circled that, and that comes in getting close to about a ton.
Yeah.
But a good, and I know, yes, more miniatures than this, but, this is still even cheap when you consider that, if you put this up price-wise against Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, you kindly bought me as a Christmas phone, which was very nice of you. But, I know you get more miniatures with that, but you don't get a lot much more compared to missions or anything.
No. So
I can't believe that's 40 quid.
40 quid. I got the email from their very lovely manager, my marketing manager, and they're like, would you like a copy of it? And I was like, oh my God, yes.
Yes, please.
And then I researched it, looked at the price afterwards, and I was like, no, that's got to be wrong.
One missing off that.
Yeah. Couldn't believe it. To get, and again, this is where they will make the majority of their money, because people like me will go, oh, but I don't want to play against a token. I want to play against the proper Cerberus.
The thing is, which is funny, is if you only got tokens and they went, oh, we're not doing any more.
Yeah.
You quite happily fight a token.
Yeah.
But when you know there is another option than a token, you want to play them.
Yeah.
You'll want to play them.
So the full set of miniatures for everything is over 200 quid, I think. Yeah. Which and it's a lot of miniatures. You can get different poses for
the heroes,
for all of the heroes, because you've got Boy Shepherd with his gun and his blade, but then Femshep is just with a gun, so you can get it the other way around.
Cool.
The Omni Blade, that's what it's called. So genuinely great. Yeah.
Do you know what? For One Piece miniatures, they are really, really nice.
Yeah,
they really are nice.
Yeah. And I think it works in their favour in that, if you're looking at that's Rex, he's a Krogan, And I look at that and I go, yeah, it's a Krogan.
Yeah.
And you'll paint him in Rex's colours and you'll go, yeah, it's Rex.
Yeah.
In the game, you know, the faces are a bit different and this, that and the other. Like, I look at that.
Yeah.
That's Garrus, who is a Turian.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm like, nah, I don't know if that's Garrus. But you paint him up in the right colours and it's fine. So the good thing is, like, yeah, they've got a bunch of aliens and you paint them the right colours and it's fine.
Really, they really feel like not feel because they're plastic, but they just have a real Infinity vibe about them, which is never a bad thing because Infinity miniatures are still bloody lovely.
So,
but that's
like
such a good value.
Yeah, and this is, I think this is what sort of, you know, kickstarted all of this, is how good this is and how much value it provides for the customer. In that, you know, you look at these, like, it's a board game, it's a different product. Yeah. Single piece plastic miniatures are what people want with board games, because your average board game player, I don't think would go, oh well, I need to paint these first before I can play them. And like Gen Con is predominantly like trading card games.
Yeah.
Card games are like the massive draw.
Yeah.
Like Lorcana and Magic and all that sort of stuff. And people coming up to the Artist Opus booth were like, oh, I'm thinking about starting to paint some of the board game miniatures that I have.
Yes.
And that kind of thing. So they've left them grey because they want you to paint them.
Yes.
Because quite often you just get coloured plastics and you can just do whatever.
Yeah.
But these are all different enough that even though they're grey, I'll be like, right, that's Liara, that's Shepherd, etc., etc. Yeah. So that's fine.
Do you know what? I'm not aiming my remark I'm about to say as a comparison to Games Workshop, because I don't think that'd be fair. It feels like a game. It feels like a board game that's been put together by somebody that has got respect for the person who's going to buy.
Yeah. And
they've gone, this is going to go on a shelf with, and let's be honest, the person who's buying it probably has another 3 or 4 things at least that are like this.
Yeah.
Unless they're just a hardcore Mass Effect fan, and then with Mass Effect on, they'll hoover up. But the average person who's going to buy this probably has got something else like it already. It's going to go on a shelf. There might be other games on top of it. The box is nice and thick and you know, everything, every ability. And then don't get me wrong, the plastic bags for your cards, that also does exist in Blackstone Fortress. So, but it feels like it's designed to go, you'll come back to the contents of this box in this box.
Yeah.
And
whereas I think Kill Team isn't like that now.
Not really, no. And so I understand from a point of view, well, why do we spend so much money on making the box really robust if you don't store the stuff in it and you throw it away anyway? Like, I get it, but
I get it. It's still really nice and having it be really nice on a product that is so much cheaper. So I think like Modiphius of and like again, like the Fallout TV series on Amazon, exceptional.
Yes.
Unbelievably exceptional.
Modiphius must have been clicking their heels with joy when they...
Lots of their Gen Con stand was Fallout stuff.
Yeah. But, you know, when they must have been sitting there, mustn't they? And you know, and especially our friend James must have been sitting there when the TV show was like coming out going, oh, please don't be shit.
Oh, yeah. Because if
they predated it by about a year.
Yeah. And so who make Halo, the Halo game? Mantic. So you got Modiphius with, like, Mass Effect. The original trilogy ended a long time ago, but it was that good. Like, Mass Effect 2 is my favourite game of all time.
Yeah.
But it's had such a lasting legacy, and I think there's a new one sort of in the works or something along those lines. That I think this would do well. And, you know, I can see already you've got your Renegade and Paragon markers. Like, you know, a big part of the game is you make choices that affect the game. So this is very much leans into that, I believe. But really,
so
really
Mantic,
cool. So it's going to do well.
We're like, oh, Halo TV show's rubbish.
Halo, the TV show, has now been cancelled.
It has, 2 seasons. And but in Mantic's defence, because they are a company that I do like, in their defence is that Halo, the TV show, being poor is not great for them. If it had been great. It would have been really, really good for them.
Yeah.
But also, that game carries enough weight that I think that turning it into miniatures game will still, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it would have just been a lovely boost if the TV show was something everyone's always talking about, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And also, I think it was a bit harder to watch, wasn't it? Because it's on Paramount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, a lot more people watch Amazon than those that watch Paramount, so in the UK especially.
Yeah.
So, but I think, you know, even though, like you say, this has been around quite a while now as a video game, it's like Halo. It's loved enough that I think there'll be plenty of people who'll be prepared to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's just, I'm glad you didn't tell me the price and saved it for on air, because I am mildly flabbergasted at how good it is.
I was shocked when I saw it, that I went and which is why I had to double check it,
because even
again whilst we were recording, just to make sure it wasn't like some weird, like, oh, it's up for pre-order and it's slightly cheaper or whatever. Like, I'm more excited to play this than anything else at the moment.
So cool that, you know, just to, you know, I could do with something like this with all me stratagems when I'm playing 40k all just on one board.
Yeah.
You know, going, don't forget to play that when you do that with him. You know, with a man who's with an ailing memory. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a lovely presented game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, because I said I was only going to be positive about Workshop after this, I'm going to talk about the roadmaps. I loved how vague they were.
Well, do you know what got me about the roadmaps at Nova? Again, I'm sure we're, you know, preaching to the choir. You've all seen them. No one that I have watched, and I've watched a few videos about the roadmaps, no one's been positive. And do you know, maybe I'm wondering whether they made them roadmaps for me in my ailing memory, because the fact that they spent the first half of each roadmap telling you what you already have had.
Yes.
You know, we released this. And you go, no, did you? What? Levi what? Levi what? What?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, and they spent ages telling you about things that you already had. And it's like, you literally have come at this with no confidence in what you're about to say.
So someone on the Discord said to me, we were sort of chatting about it a little bit in there, and because I was away and because it's in the US and the timings of it all, I just sort of completely sort of missed it and saw the pictures, and someone was just like, you know, even the Stormcast video was just loads of the miniatures that were in Dominion that you can now buy individually, which I thought was great. I also loved how the Legion Imperialis one just said tanks. I thought that was wonderful. What are we going to be able to tanks? When tanks? How tanks?
I'm smirking. I'm smirking because of just how well you've presented that. But it wasn't actually funny. It was actually quite insulting.
Yeah.
That, you know, imagine Ford did a roadmap next year, cars. You know what I mean?
I mean, people would go, good, that's what you make.
Yeah, that's what you make. You generally do a reasonable job at it. Yeah. But what? No, new Fiesta? What, you making what? What are you bringing back? You know, next year, more cars.
Yeah.
So
with four wheels.
And Ford then went, this year we made this, and this year we made this.
Yeah, yeah.
But
was it the Age of Sigmar one just said, all factions? Which I thought was wonderful.
Because I didn't watch it, I just seen the fallout of it. What poor sod had to do it?
I imagine it would be Adam Troke. They usually wheel him out for the big announcements and stuff.
You must have looked at that and thought.
It's usually Adam Troke and Eddie Eccles.
Oh, Eddie Eccles, yeah.
Yeah.
What? You're going to make me do what? You know, I've never seen that.
And then, is it no more 40k until 2025?
This is where I want to rant. Do you imagine if I'd done my last haircut last week and went, yes, I'll see you in the new year?
Yeah.
Can you go, yeah, don't worry. No, I won't be here to do any Christmas haircuts for looking good for New Year. Just won't be here.
Yeah.
Who stops in September?
Like their biggest, like, tentpole.
Heading into the quarter of a year where most people stick their hands in their pockets. Yes, they'll probably do Christmas sets as they do most years. But who stops on Codex? And the problem with stopping on Codexes now, and I can feel my voice rising, is that it's not like you haven't got stuff to be getting on with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're thinking about the amount of factions that still haven't got a Codex. And you're stopping in September. I've said this before, and people will agree and disagree. Personally, I think when a new edition of the game drops, the codexes should be coming out not even one a month. It should be faster than that.
Yeah.
It should be a fortnight. Bang, 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 bang. And I'm not saying necessarily, I know you the way it goes, well, they bring a codex out and they build the hype up and then they sell miniatures.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, but that's a bit of a bullshit excuse, because some codexes only get one miniature just to flavour the pot.
Yeah.
Like last time round.
Custodes.
Adeptus Mechanicus got that weird lad on stilts.
Yeah.
The last time Death Guard had a codex, they got the Lord of Virulence, who, don't get me wrong, is a good miniature, but that's all they got.
Yeah.
All they do, the previous times to that, Adeptus Mechanicus got a Marshal.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a really new thing. You could have some variants of a Marshal already. Go, here's another one.
Yeah.
You know, and you go, I'm not expecting you to give us armies every time you release a codex. It would be unrealistic to expect that to happen, especially by the fact that a lot of armies have had relatively recent range refreshes. But do you know, if you said to me, you can have your Death Card codex now and you'll have to proxy a miniature in, and then we'll release the miniature later, I'd rather have the codex.
Yeah.
No miniature.
But they'd never do that. They'd never go question mark name, question mark picture. He does this.
Oh, no,
this,
he'd be in the codex.
Yeah.
Because he'd be in the codex. Bear in mind that it's not that infrequent now to have miniatures in that have a data slate in the codex with no photograph of the miniature. You can get that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So just have his name, say what he's armed with. You either build one you build one, or you proxy one.
But they won't do that, because that's how the whole chapter house thing happened, wasn't it?
You're absolutely right. But there has to be some way around this, because releasing codex this slowly.
Yeah.
I know people that got the Guard codex that never got a chance to play it before 9th edition ended, and it was the first time in a little while they gone, your codex is no use.
Yeah.
And they went, buy these cards.
Yes.
And then buy a codex.
Yeah.
And then possibly if you're now really used to them cards, have these cards, buy a codex, buy the cards again.
Oh, because they update the cards, don't they?
Cards, don't they? You know, we've got now two bloody big boxes of Space Marine codex cards.
Was it like towards the end of 9th? It was like when everything's released, they do a balance update, and then it's kind of, you have that few months of calm where people can just play and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But then the whole process starts again.
It's just not fair to people to make them wait so long for their codex. And it's especially not fair when you're the last in the line before you get, the next edition. Hopefully, 10th going into 11th will allow codex to carry on like they did for a couple of variants a couple of times before 10th.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will happen. But 10th edition rules haven't, in a lot of cases, been very well received.
No, so there was an Auspex Tactics video that I remember watching, and he sort of said, I think we're kind of in 10.5 now.
Yeah.
In the style of codexes has changed.
Yeah.
In the more recent ones that have been released, and that were written after the release of 10th, when people went, hang on a minute. So, I mean, there has to be a reason. If they're not going to release anything for 4 months.
It's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm only being positive. I think it's only a good thing. Maybe they're spending longer and will release more balanced and better books.
Well, you can only hope, can't you?
They're redesigning all of the really beige miniatures that they were going to release, and then they'll just come
nipples on everything.
Yes, that's it. There's one guy. There's one person in front of a computer, and Darren Latham's just gone, nipple boy, and he just has to put nipples on every single miniature.
Dreadnought. I don't care.
I don't care.
But it's just like, I just don't know when your job is meant to be getting everybody their codex.
Yeah.
You can just go, we're having 4 months off this.
Yeah.
We're having 4 months off this when you could be getting an army out. How you aren't doing Guard Codex before Christmas, and they've already now said Krieg are getting no shock to anybody. Thanks, Chapter Master Balrak. No shock to anybody. Krieg are getting a full range now.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got a big range refresh coming up for Krieg. You're not going to release a Codex and all the boxes or a big battle box for Krieg. For Santa, you're not going to do that for Santa to bring it. What are you thinking? I just don't. It's like you're going.
There must be a reason. Like they surely. I don't think anybody at Workshop, to give them credit, would say, you know what we're going to do? Release nothing for our most popular game for 4 months in the lead up to the busiest gifting period of the year. I can't believe that would be something they do on purpose.
I've got to hope there's a crisis.
Yeah.
I know you say hope there's a crisis because that's
yeah.
But I've got to hope there's a crisis that means that somewhere along the line there's sorting something out that's majorly gone wrong. It may even be as simple as this is them trying to sort out the whole warehouse problems.
Yeah.
It could be that.
Yeah.
It could be that.
I heard the new robots at the airport factory, they're unionising. And they want better working hours.
Apparently, they got their foot in the door better when they realised they could capture their own Catan.
Yeah.
This is our new shop student. Why has he got a scythe and floating? Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what's happened. But
it's interesting. Isn't it? It's interesting.
Do you know what? But the thing is this thing is
unfortunately interesting.
Yeah, Games Workshop. You always hope and meant they went through a stage of becoming relatively transparent, and they're now going back to being back behind closed doors again. No, for you to come out and went, sorry guys, nothing for the remainder of the year. We're still getting our supply system exactly where we need it, so that we promise 2025. If something's out of stock, it'll be for a week and it'll be back in.
Yeah.
And if they sort of went, look, we want to be able to have everything you need when you need it there. Because I tell you, one of the things that boils my piss is if I walk around Warhammer World and things aren't in stock.
Yeah.
Some people travel literally across countries to get to Warhammer World. Imagine you go in there and you go, oh, we haven't got that.
Yeah.
You go, but I've got it in my shop back in Copenhagen. You know what I mean? I didn't buy it there because I thought it'd be cool to come here, have the day, museum, Buckland's bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you haven't got. How can you not have intercessors? Do you know what I mean? Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I hope that this break is because it's a logistical break. If they've just done it and gone, I would.
Because, crikey, imagine how much revenue they will lose not releasing anything for over a quarter of the year.
I mean, literally, that would be like me as a barber saying I'm going on my Christmas holidays on the 1st of December.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like like comparing apples and oranges, but it's the same thing.
It'd be like me as a wedding videographer going, you know what? I only work when the clocks change to wintertime.
Yeah.
People love rain and darkness.
I'm big up
for
on
all of their weddings.
I'm big on doing weddings between October and March.
Yeah, that's it. I just want some time to myself in the summer.
You know what I mean? And I've got to hope it's a logistical thing, because I've got to be honest. When I seen the first bit of because I read it from left to right, and when they did the first bit of reading the roadmap, And they went, here's what we've released.
Because
And I was
all the information you actually want's on like the right hand side, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I read
Yeah.
the left-hand side first.
Yeah.
And realised that, at the age I am, potentially wasted time I haven't got. And I read that and then went, I don't look after myself very well. I haven't got to. I've got a future now when they release any more roadblocks, so I'm going to go straight to the right-hand side of it.
Yeah.
Don't read the left.
I'll read them first and I'll circle the important stuff for you. Yeah. Yeah.
But just going...
But no miniatures to show was a surprise as well. Yeah.
in some ways, but why go no miniatures? And why have no miniatures to show? And then, they did this with whatever the previous show was, where they went, "Oh, we're not going to do anything with that one." Was it Gen Con?
Yeah, Gen Con. Yeah, they scrapped their reveal. Yeah.
But then revealed all the Blood Angels online only.
Yes.
And because everyone was going, Gen Con, Blood Angels. And the next thing you know, there's just a random Monday and they go, ta-da, look at this.
Cheaper for them to do?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe that's it. They were like, hey, why do we spend all the money going to these massive events, renting a big hall and playing a video on a screen that we could just release on our own website for free?
Yeah.
Again, why make a good box if it's going to go in the bin?
Yeah. You make some strong points.
So maybe it's that. We don't have to like it.
No.
I'm only being positive, so I love it. I think it's great. Tanks!
Hey!
It's great.
Tanks.
It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. I am going to buy some little tanks, actually.
Oh, are you?
I was making... I'll tell you off air, because I wanted to be a surprise. Yeah.
But, yeah. If you're having 4 months off, it better be because you're sorting something out that's broke.
Yes.
If you're having 4 months off just to go, oh, well, that's enough for the year. Do you know what I mean? I don't like being told. At 52, I don't like being told that's enough. I'll decide when that's enough.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll know.
Yes.
But you go, you don't need anything more. And you go, no, I think I might. You know what I mean? What's Santa going to bring me if you stop him now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Where's my captain on a bike?
Yeah, where's my captain on a bike? Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
But, other than Kill Team, and I'm not going to include, because it's only basically a single miniature, I'm not going to talk about the Warhammer Plus Inquisitor. Other than Kill Team, they, for me, haven't really showered themselves in glory the last few months.
No.
But if I was an Age of Sigmar player, I'd be skipping down the road.
Yeah.
On my way to the Warhammer store.
Yeah, if I play...
Well, to be fair, I'd be skipping down the road on my way to Element Games, but that's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
But it almost is like they give all the staff over to them to really push the new Age of Sigmar since its launch. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
40K's meant, as always, well, for a long time, has been their tentpole product.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the Age of Sigmar. The Age of Sigmar might take over, but I don't think as many people buy Age of Sigmar.
The rumours around the Sigmar release was that a lot of them are left over.
Oh, right.
That's purely a rumour.
Right.
Not one that I believe.
No, of course not.
Because I'm only being positive. But how true that is or not, I've got no idea. But there's a few spares knocking about. I think traditionally, I think they underproduce 40k launch boxes and overproduce Sigmar.
Yeah.
I go into the toilet at workshop, you trip over Dominion boxes on the way.
Use them as door stops.
Yeah, all that great stuff.
And you change that light bulb, just put 8 Dominion boxes together and climb them.
Yeah. So there's maybe that, I don't know, but maybe there is, which we all know is all facts. I think there is some kind of internal power struggle in the middle where someone's going, no, we need to step away from the weird gothic baby skulls and we just need to sort of beigify it a bit. I think there's also...
Beigifying it a bit, but over on Age of Sigmar, you've got a giant rat man with another rat man's head stitched onto the side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So whoever's in charge of Sigmar has gone, shut up, and they're doing it. Maybe they have more influence in the 40k design team.
Sorry, go on.
So that could be a thing. I think also, which I think is also a really good thing, sarcasm, they're providing the value to the shareholders instead of the customer in the quality of the product.
Yeah.
And then perhaps all of these supply and warehouse bits and bobs as well. So teething pains, growing pains, an internal design civil war.
I think what is utterly disgusting is the fact that whatever, looking at the design work, whatever good drugs the Age of Sigmar sculptors are on aren't sharing them.
Someone in Sigmar has gone, I found these amazing mushrooms in this wood. And then the guys in 40k are going, where is it? I'm not telling you, it's mine. That's it. No, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
You know, it could be so closer to the truth than we know.
Yeah.
But it's so. Yeah, to sort of round up, I think. Are we at rounding up point?
I feel like it is, yeah. The more it goes on, the longer it goes on, I'm willing to spend money on hobby.
You've got to give me hobby to buy.
I'm going to give it to Modiphius instead.
Yeah. Well, I think
I want my little Cerberus soldier miniatures so I can paint them up and kill them. I want an alternative pose for
Shep.
Yeah.
But I think, Games Workshop must try harder. Modiphius on point at the moment, fellas.
Yeah.
And they are lovely people. I played when I was at when I was at Birmingham Games Expo. I played their new one of Romans versus Cthulhu.
Oh, was that Modiphius as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember you telling me about it. Yeah.
The images were so nice.
Yeah.
Especially nice because the Romans were quite heroic. So even if you didn't play the game, they'd look quite good if you played Ancients.
Yeah.
To have like a cool looking centurion with a couple of swords.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys are a bit rank and file, even if you weren't going to play that game, buying the Romans for it. So they're on point at the moment. And like I've said many times, they are a really, really lovely bunch of people.
Yes.
And to be fair,
so
they've got to be a lovely bunch of people because not nice people wouldn't sell you that box for that amount of money.
Yeah. 40 quid.
Well done, guys.
I'm still in shock.
Yeah. What you got there?
Oh, yeah. And we've got some samples of the new P3 range of paints. These aren't under embargo, so I can...
You've got to love any paint that's got... You've got to love any paint called Murderous Magenta.
Yes, that is pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know if these names are the final product. I don't know if the pots are the final product. But these are samples. We've got metallics and we've got a range of colours as well. I'm really keen to try out the metallics after the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
With all of that.
You've got Ross's favourite colour.
The sanguine base.
Yes, which he thinks is... he loves as the base for skin, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to giving them a rattle,
Yeah.
Oh, surely that's a really good play.
For a raptor. Yeah.
If you play raptors, surely that's a great green, isn't it?
Yeah, like a really, really good solid olive green.
Ordic olive. Wow.
So we've got, how many colours have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 35, 50, 16, 18. We've got 19 colours. The full range, I think they were saying, was over 100 or will be over 100. So we have a very small selection here, but it's going to be fun to play with them.
And it's nice. It feels like a nice little sidebar to having them in for the interview. So them actually very kindly sending us stuff on.
Yeah.
Blind water green. Oh, that's a very nice rich Dark Angels green, isn't it?
Ooh. Yeah, so we've got...
I love the fact that they've got their own range of toys and I'm just picking them and going, oh, look at that for doing Marines.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's going to be interesting, yes.
And it obviously will be very good colours that will match up really nicely if you are going to play their new version of War Machine.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be great. These will be what they'll be using.
So I am intrigued.
Meant to be lovely for wet blending.
Yes.
And that'll be... Surely... How to wet blend, that's your next thing to learn in a video. That's something for you to learn in a video, isn't it?
No, well, I mean, my series of videos isn't how to do anything. It's, I'm terrified.
I stumbled my way through wet blending.
Yeah, and hopefully actually get to something usable. Sensational. So that'll be fun. But yes, we can exclusively reveal that we have a pot of paint that says Murderous Magenta on it.
Or more because you want.
And that's pretty cool.
It is.
We don't have, what was the black one? Coal black.
Coal black.
So
Seems to be black everyone
we've
loves,
got
doesn't it?
Thanmar black, Immortal black, Boiler black.
Ooh.
But I don't think we have coal black.
Boiler black, a sort of machinic sort of
Oh, sorry, yeah. You go.
Oh, that reminds me a little bit of AK Black Rubber.
Oh. Yeah, we've got Rock Hide as opposed to Rhinox Hide, I guess. And some flash colours and bits and bobs. So yeah, that's quite exciting.
Cool.
But there we go. Yeah, wrapping up. I think it's been an interesting summer for miniatures.
It certainly has, for better and for worse.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I've been down on Games Workshop a little bit. I can't wait for Kill Team. I really am looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that is a great strength.
Especially because we're going to try and get some content out of it as well, so that should be cool.
Throw some dice, have a bit of fun.
Yes. You never know, we might even be able to get a quick mini painting guide out for something. We'll see. Maybe. Never know.
Yeah, maybe.
Might even try on air at some point in the future, Paint of Esped.
Ooh.
We'll see. Yes, but so thank you for listening to that waffling and ranting. And
and tell us what you think.
Seriously,
this summer has been for you guys.
I know a lot of people have spoken about this already, but as it's a roundup, we're covering it again. And our viewers generally have some quite cool opinions, so quite like to hear what they are.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, as always, to the beautiful people that are the Patreons. We do really, really appreciate you.
They are very beautiful.
They are extraordinarily beautiful, every one of them.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.